Hey, yo, what the This is a palace right here.
The late night flight is paid for by the following. Hello, I have 3 questions for you. When you're talking NBA with your white coworkers, do you say that Dallas Mavericks point guard Luka Doncic is the best player in the NBA to position yourself as non-threatening in the office? And when black people think that you talk like a white person, do you reply, hey, you would too if you graduated from an HBCU? Are you Rachel Dozer? If you do or are any one of these 3, then you are suffering from the contribution of white privilege. Hi, my name is Nasur Nuru, and if you are looking to go from Wayne Newton to Wayne Brady, please give us a call at 1-800-HELL-NO-CANVAS. That's 1-800-HELL-NO-CANVAS. Give us a call now before you turn into Tay Diggs.
It's a bunch of us. I'm a hand of colony.
Hold on, everybody on their mountain, everybody marching for a young nigga like me to get tsunami on it. I'ma get it, I'ma win a baby. I'll be on my curry till I crash and bury 40 on the text. Yeah, I'm acting nerdy if it's at the Appalachian to the Appalachian. I'ma do whatever that they take to make a black a nation. Hold on.
All right, honey, here goes your question. What stipulations would you include in the terms and conditions of your next relationship?
Is this a safe space for me to be vulnerable?
I mean, sure. You've been vulnerable on the last 4 podcasts and then look strong and then, look vulnerable again, then look strong, then look even more strong to try to clown me about not wanting to look vulnerable. And it's like, hold up, I'm not trying to look vulnerable. I'm just trying to look aware. No, you're not being vulnerable enough. Like, no, still be more weak. Come on, the sword. So, yeah, I mean, bro, whatever.
Now, I just want to clarify that vulnerable and weak are not synonymous.
No, they're not. I'm being funny when I say that.
But, if I could take a moment to be vulnerable, and, it was funny as I was rereading the question and as you were reading the question, I thought to myself, what made me pose this question, right? Because what I think is happening with me and why I'm asking these questions or why I think in these terms is that on some levels, I'm fearful of a new relationship. And a part of that is me wanting to control the aspects of that new relationship. So when I say terms and conditions, I'm, making it out to be like some sort of contractual, formalized process where XYZ has to happen in order for me to be comfortable. And I think that's a byproduct of me being jaded due to me recently coming out of a long-term relationship and, me trying to just control the outcomes. So with that being said, I don't think I would have any terms and conditions that would, that I would demand of anyone that I come into a partnership with. I'll just be myself, my best version of myself, and I'll expect for them to be the best version of themselves, and we'll go from there.
Did you watch that narcissist video I gave you? Did you watch it?
What narcissist?
Did you watch that narcissist video?
What are you talking about?
All right, so I just segue into that because that same guy has these type of statements that he says if you say these statements and you live out this statement to your partner or anyone in your relationships, whether it's friendships, love relationships, he said you will feel so much better. And the one that stuck out with me, because it's very simple. And honestly, it's something that even I have to still grow and be mature with. But as I say that, again, hear what I'm about to tell you. So he says, love me, love my dog, which means, hey, love me and all that comes with me. Now, understand the reason why I said I was kind of like about it for a second is because here's the thing. You don't have to love everything about that person. And when you realize that you do not, that's the day you need to say, I shouldn't be with that person, not stay with that person. Now, I say that to say this, Hanif, I wouldn't sell yourself short and think that, hey, because you were jaded at one point in time in your relationship, you shouldn't share that with her. Not saying to make yourself feel vulnerable, but hey, this is what happened to me, but I'm over that now. And you have to showcase that you're over that and allow her to basically, get you out of that feeling.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, so you're not wrong for saying, hey, I need these things to happen. Like, there's nothing wrong with saying that. Now, you don't say that in the beginning. You know what I mean? You just let that, you let that come. Because you have to work on yourself first. Like, you can't just run around and have a moping face because, every 15 minutes of each week is that 15 minutes where you want to mourn about your past. That new woman in your life don't want to see none of that. And she shouldn't.
Right.
Realistically, she shouldn't. That's unfair to her.
Definitely.
That's what remember we was talking to the ladies about, the deceased person in their life and them mourning about it. That's what I'm talking about. Of course you can have that time to mourn, and of course I'm going to respect the fact that you love someone else before me. However, if you're saying that we're in a relationship and we love each other and we're going to grow, how many times do I need to really show some type of, no disrespect when I say this term, lame duck support of someone that has nothing to do with me? Now, maybe this is a father of your child, so it may, of course, that holds a certain level of gravitas, but that's where that man, the new man, has to make a decision. Is this something that they are willing to deal with? Because that may be not, for me, that might be a deal breaker. That might be one hell of a deal breaker. I don't know if I want to deal with a woman that has a deceased husband or father of children that she's going to mourn every year, no matter what. I don't know if I want to be the person in her life to deal with that. Because if I have to deal with that the next 4 to 5 years of my life, I don't know if I'm willing. It depends on the level of woman. I personally know that if eight out of 10 women can come to me with that same situation, that same occurrence, and I'm pretty sure 8 out of 10 times I would say, nah, I'm good. But I don't know about the other 2 times. It depends on the woman. Right. But I'm pretty sure 8 out of 10 of those times I'm saying, yeah, you know what? I'm not gonna move forward in this relationship with her because of that. Like, that's too much for me. I'm honest about that. That's what my vulnerability is.
Right.
Hey, yo, what the This is some pally right here.
And now we have Hanif Sowell, the senior correspondent of the Light Skin Delegation. What the is that? Light Skin Delegation?
We, the Light Skin Delegation /coalition/network, would like to ask all of our women members to use their WAP responsibly. We all know there's a stigma surrounding light-skinned women as being cold and heartless. Since the release of Cardi B and Meg Thee Stallion's song WAP, we have had an increase of complaints from men in other delegations claiming to have lost contact with women that they loved after experiencing their WAP. We are in a very tumultuous time and would like to keep our defenses ready to stave off attacks by foreign invaders and white people. Although we have vowed to protect our women, we cannot stand another civil war because you snatched a man's soul and discarded it. Thank you. No further questions at this time. Push us through crowd.
Can rappers save us with their lyrics?
So there's been like this surge of violence in Philadelphia, where I'm at. I feel like it's actually been in a lot of major cities though, because I've seen Chicago and a few other places report surges in violence in Black communities. And I'm watching a news report where the rapper Beanie Siegel is asking for young people to put the guns down and stop the violence. And, I just wanted to ask, and in a sense, because I've had this debate a bunch of times with people where they say that the lyrics in rap actually helps to perpetuate a lot of this violence that's happening. And, you know, I want to know if rappers can step in and reverse course, and if it really makes a difference or not.
Remember when music was on cassette tapes and when rap music was on cassette tapes and CDs, but that's just showing our age right now. But they would have that parental advisory sticker.
Right.
And it was on there for a reason, because rap artists wanted to express their freedom of speech. Now, of course, the trend about cursing is not the lack of intellect with that person. No, it's in the mannerism of how they curse. So it's not, it's both ways. You know how they say it's not what you say, it's how you say it. Well, sometimes it's the other way too. It's not how you say it, it's what you say. Mm-hmm. And that's the liberty of being a rap artist, or any artist, period, be honest with you. But with rap artists, you know, you hear wordplay all day long for the most part. Whether it's good or bad, you hear words. So that's the thing about rap music. So I say all that to say this. You know, excuse me. If the world is upset and you don't want the world to act on it, a rap artist can step in and use their bars as a way to channel that anger. Now, here's the thing. People may want to go out and be violent anyway. You can't use music as a tool to say, yeah, this is the reason why.
Right.
Because no one is not going to say, well, you know, in 2017, a bunch of tiki torch white dudes would, you know, galloped around Charlottesville and had a bonfire seance.
Somebody.
Oh, that's heavy metal. That's heavy metal music. Oh man, they still listening to Metallica out here. This is crazy. Like, no one says that.
Right.
You know, and I'm not blaming Metallica. I mean, by the way, your music is fine. I have no problem with it. I'm just saying.
You said something that makes the point where you was like, you know, if you have a predisposition for violence, and then the music, you know, you hear the music and it, you know, gets you in a mind state of being amped up and you want to act that violence out, it's not the music. It's still not the music. Yeah. Because there's also other people who hear the same music that you hear and it doesn't trigger them to be violent or, you know, to cause mayhem or, you know, hurt other people. So that's where the argument that I've always made to this is like, the culture isn't influenced by the music is influenced by the culture. So the gun violence, the drug use, the womanizing, all of the things that people say are wrong with hip hop is what's wrong with our community.
What are movies, honey? What are movies?
Movies are movies.
Movies are exaggerated stories of our real life.
True. Okay.
You know what I mean? So, oh, Ray showed this infidelity and drugs and blah, blah, blah. Oh, in the 70s, they had movies about STDs and, well, that's what was happening.
Right.
They're only talking about what was going on.
Exactly.
You know, I mean, where did they get it from? How did Birth of a Nation become Birth of a Nation? Because they had an idea and an agenda in real life they get to base this on.
Right.
This is what we want you to do for the next 50 years. Do this.
Yeah. So this is also speaking to our earlier talk about what liberties artists have in their music. So we know Beanie Siegel is definitely going to rap about shooting up people and, you know, all sorts of violence. And he associates that with his bravado and him being a man and being like one of the toughest people out there, the hardest rapper to do it and all of that, you know. And again, all I'm going to say is that as an artist, he has the liberty to say all of those things. And he does not, in my opinion, have the responsibility in his raps to say anything other than what he feels creatively.
Yeah, I don't even want you to say that to people. Don't not even trying to be funny. Like, cause we, hear me out on this. They're like wrestlers to me. It's a storyline. You know the storyline of why he raps. You know what, if you listen to Beanie Siegel, you know the storyline that he's giving you. So that's not going to change.
Right.
The only thing that's going to change is his mannerisms and his maturity through his age. That's it. Right. It's not going to be anything else. So people I don't want you to say like, hey, look, yo, he doesn't have to have the responsibility. No, you don't even have to tell people that no more. They know. Politicians, local government, the society, is our job.
Right.
To conduct what positive mannerism is or isn't.
Now, as a black man in the community and as a leader, quote unquote, a leader in the community, he has a responsibility to do what he's doing, but not as a rapper.
But that's the thing. But see, that's where it's a double-edged sword, because is Beanie looked at as a black leader or is he looked at as a rap artist?
I mean, I feel like they're interchangeable in certain aspects because
right now is in Philadelphia. I mean, because I don't know the news that's going on in Philadelphia. So right. What I'm saying to you, what I'm asking you is he some type of leader / activist, or maybe just an activist in Philadelphia that I may not know about? Like, is he doing Jay-Z level things in Philadelphia that I don't know about?
No, but he's influential. I would say
okay.
And then I would also say that, like I'm saying, as a member of the community who people recognize, and he's just doing it on the strength of like, yo, I grew up in this community. These are my people. I have some sort of influence. Let me speak out against it. But that doesn't mean that if Beanie Siegel dropped an album tomorrow talking about how many texts he got, how many people he shot, that I'm not gonna rap along to it.
I mean, you shouldn't even be, you shouldn't even excuse yourself not to.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like that's, we know what rap music is. You know what I mean? Like, we know what it is. I mean, it has many versions of it. I'm just saying, we know the version that Beanie Siegel tells.
Right.
It's like, yo, not trying to compare them to wrestlers, but I just like to do that because it's funny to me. Where you have gangster rappers, you have trap artists, you have R&B artists, you have hip hop artists where, like, I guess, like a KRS-One type,
Right.
You have different type of rap styles now. Same thing with wrestling when you have, I guess you would call like a big body type, like when you use characters. You got a high flyer, you have a veteran, you have a tough guy, dominant female, things like that. That's all it is. I mean, so he's basically like, tough guy, mid-card tough guy. Broad Street Bully, I believe that's what he calls himself, right? So, I mean, that's the storyline he gonna pitch all day, and you have every right to follow along. But at the same time, here's my thing, Beanie Siegel. If I'm going to be that way, shut the f*** up. Rap.
What you mean? You don't think he should be telling the community not to be shooting each other?
No. I don't. Real shit, I don't. Because you know what? Here's the thing. Freedom of speech, am I right? That's what they say, right? Freedom of speech, am I right?
Okay.
He could change his music if he want to. You Beanie Siegel already. It don't really matter no more for you.
Yeah, but I guess that's the point I'm trying to make. What's him changing his music got to do with him not wanting people to be out there and be violent?
Because the thing is, you promote violence. But we know why you promote violence, because it's the storyline. I'd rather you promote violence. But my thing is this, if you're going to promote violence at the same time, in this climate, tell people to put the guns down. Matter of fact, how about this? Because I know he didn't do this. Articulate it better. Yo, put the guns down. Let me do it. People would be into that. Oh, word, you heard what Beanie said? And then all of it is just another album. But it's good enough, though. Be smart about it. I know he ain't pitch it like that. Because these motherfuckers don't be... Anyway, but yeah, he ain't pitch it like that. He should have pitched it like that. That's what I would have did. Pitch it. He ain't pitch it. He just sat there, rap, and then tell people put the guns down. No, you just told people to pick the guns up. You confusing people now.
Right.
Oh, okay. All right. How about, you know, yo, I need all y'all put the guns down. Yo, me and my homies gonna handle it. You already know, you know what I'm saying? Me, I done call PD, I done call Freeway. We about to get this thing popping. Yo, oh, you know what's about to go down. State Prop 3 about to happen, whatever. I don't know, State Prop 15, I don't know. But I'm just saying, that's what you want. That's what I would want to see out of Beanie Sigel, but it's not presented that way. It's just like, oh, I'm hood famous. I'm the Broad Street bully. Listen to me. It's like, yo, half of them rather listen to Meek anyway right now. Like, you know what I'm saying? And Meek is doing a good look. He with Robert Kraft and Jay-Z trying to do prison reform so they can go vote.
Right.
Beanie, what you got?
Hey, yo, what the This is some palace right here.
Does having a type make you date the same person?
True or false? Having it tight is the main reason why you end up dating the same person and different people.
Hell yes. So, here's the thing about that. This is why you should not have a preference. Don't get me wrong. I like my women. I hope this is not a derogatory term, but chocolate. I like that shit. And if I can even put a little bit more whipped cream on top of that chocolate, I wonder if she can be a fit chickie, gym chickie, like a real deal, like almost she's one step away from going on YouTube and just saying, I can get 10,000 subscribers by next month. Like that type of fit chick. Like I like that shit, right? Mm-hmm. Now, hear me out. Every woman that I meet is not going to be that. And on top of that, every woman that I meet is probably going to be just as good as my physical desire. They may stimulate me mentally in a way that I haven't been stimulated, which makes me want to be more aroused to her, makes me want to be more attentive to her, makes me want to spend time with her. So in life, I rather really not have a preference. You know, I try my best. I give a very good effort to give the women who wants to spend time with me that time and see what it is that we can do. But you know, that's all I can really do about that. So that's all I really got to say about the preference.
I mean, I speak to a lot of people who I find are running into certain roadblocks when it comes to dating, and they don't want to venture away from what they consider is commonly their type, whether it's a physical preference or a personality type, whatever it is that they're searching for in a partner, they seek it out, but they also continue to end up in the same sorts of situations with those people. So in my mind, that says to me that something needs to change. If you want different results, you can't continue to do the same things.
When you have a preference, it's, first of all, the preference is usually physical.
Right.
It's usually a physical type, because you can't find something mental without at least getting to know someone for at least 10 to 15 minutes, at least.
Right.
To figure out, okay, mentally, this is what I like. Unless you're just superficial and you just say, oh, this motherfucker got a Bentley, I'm going there, which is fine as well.
That's a little different though, too, because we're now meeting each other on social media and dating sites. So we do get a view of the mental before we get the physical. Well,
you get an idea of a perception. You don't even get a mindset, you get a perception. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? That's where, you know, that's why I don't like online dating, because it's smoke and mirrors still from there.
Right.
You know, it's just too many smoke and mirrors, and people they rather be online to date anyway, and it messes up the value of communication because everybody is so, you know, I don't want to call them creepy, but they have their guard up so much. So you make the wrong move or you say anything that sounds forward or aggressive, it's too much. It's wild. People can't really, you know, I wonder how people group up and still go out and have hookah together. What I realize is that they all met up on Instagram. That's what happens. When you have that preference, you lose out because you keep focusing in on the preference. So when women, like for instance, from what I see in my experiences, when women do it, women get what they like. It's all about what they like. But now after they get what they like, now they got to figure out if this dude that they like, that they want to put together, is the type of dude that they should be putting together. Mm-hmm. But you already knee deep in the D, knee deep in the time spent. So the emotion is there because, hey, a woman can make the choice to just sleep with a guy and leave, but that's not what they wanted to do because of the preference.
Right.
This is exactly what I want my man to look like.
Where's the justice for Cannon Hinnant?
So there's this story circulating out of North Carolina where the 5-year-old kid, Cannon Hinnant, was shot in the head by his next door neighbor. So the story's been making rounds where people were calling for justice for Cannon, and they're comparing this story to other stories where Black people were killed by either police or pedestrians, and our cry for justice, and they want to know where's our outrage for young Cannon. First off, I want to start off by saying that, you know, this case, a 5-year-old being killed, that should have never happened. It's disgusting, it's crazy, and, you know, I want justice for Cannon. I want whoever did it, I want the man who did it that they caught to be, to be brought to justice. But I'm also wary of looking at the case and making it an open and shut case where they've already charged him with first-degree murder. And I understand that they say that witnesses have come forth saying that he deliberately shot the young boy in the head. From what I'm reading, I don't feel like that was accurate in my gut.
What do you think was accurate in your gut? I'm just saying, based on what you read, we want people to know.
So I feel like the way that it sounds, because their next door neighbors, the father and the suspect were friends. They had lunch together the night before. He was over their house like earlier that day, and there was no signs of like animosity in between them based on what I'm reading. And, you know, when he heard the gunshot, he came outside and he saw his neighbor with a gun in his hand, frantically pacing back and forth on his porch. And then he fled. So in my mind, what I would think would happen is, if he shot the boy, I felt like it could have been by mistake. It wasn't intentional. And then he panicked. And because he's a Black man in North Carolina, and he knows that if the police shows up, it's not going to be good. So his panic, he could have caused them to flee. The other thing is that I feel like even if he did deliberately do it, he might have some mental health issues because I just can't see a person deliberately shooting a 5-year-old in the head of his neighbor that he knows.
Now, if you see the picture in that article, he doesn't look all the way right, by the way.
But I think that's a part of the spin too. The media is going to show you the worst version of him so that they can already create the public opinion necessary to run with the story. And I'm saying, even when tragic shit like this happens, all I'm saying is that we still need to be skeptical of a justice system that continuously railroads Black men. And just because we're emotionally charged by this incident, let's not let our guards down completely and allow for them to just run rampant and do whatever they want to do.
I mean, what do you want me to do?
Right.
How about let's start with the fact that the child won't see 6.
Right.
I mean, I don't know. I guess, what's the guy's name again?
Who is this? The child or
the alleged murderer?
No, the child is Cannon, and the adult.
Who's the adult? What's his name? I want to know his name because basically the judge gonna ask him whatever his name is. Hey, tell me how long you think you should be here in jail and why?
Darius Sessoms.
Darius, why don't you tell me how long is enough time? I'm just saying that, I mean, it's a 5-year-old kid. What was you doing with a gun in your hand, running around anywhere where a 5-year-old kid was in the vicinity in the first place? They're gonna ask so many questions. I mean, my thing is this, even if they're friends, why do you think it's okay to have a gun in a vicinity where your friends' kids play around at?
Now, criminal negligence, second-degree murder, manslaughter, where he had negligence, there was no intent, he killed them by mistake, or he killed them in the act of doing something else illegal, is something totally different.
Okay, so basically, we should root for him to get first-degree manslaughter. That's what you're basically saying.
Probably second-degree murder because there was no premeditation.
Have anyone have received life from second-degree murder?
Oh.
Because that's what I need to see. That's what I need to find out right now. Have anyone received life from second-degree murder?
Followed by, or the death penalty.
You can get 15 years to life. Oh, so they don't necessarily. I mean, I guess it all depends on how the judge feels at that point.
So, and look, second-degree murder is any intentional murder with malice, aforethought, but not premeditated or planned in advance.
So it couldn't be second-degree murder.
It couldn't be. What you mean? It could be second-degree murder. If your first-degree murder means that you set and you drew out a plan. You said when Connor comes outside and he's riding his bike at 6 o'clock in the morning, or 6 o'clock in the afternoon, I'm gonna be outside and I'm going to kill him. And you thought it through. You created a plan and you acted on that plan. Second-degree murder is Connor's outside. Me and his dad had an argument. I got mad at his dad and I shot his son. So it has all of the malice, but it doesn't have the premeditation. So that's the thing that separates the two.
Hold on, hear me out. I'm on criminal.findlaw.com. So they got this scenario. This is a second-degree murder. Adam didn't have any plan to kill Bill when he went to Bill's house that day. So there was no premeditation. At the time he pulled the trigger, however, Adam fully intended to kill Bill. In these circumstances, prosecutors will probably charge him with second-degree murder.
Right.
If, on the other hand, Adam kills Bill during a sudden quarrel with provocation, the charge would likely be voluntary manslaughter. The idea is that if Adam is driven by the heat of passion, it lessens the moral blame.
Oh, so manslaughter.
That's why I said first-degree manslaughter.
Got you.
But see, that's where I'm like, okay, they can give him manslaughter. I mean, now Now, the highest sentence is like things like 10, 15. Well, I don't even know. Let me see. Let me click on voluntary manslaughter real fast.
But see, another if it wasn't a black man that was charged with this, then they would follow the rule of law, because then they know that it's a potential. If I charge this man with first-degree murder and I can't prove beyond a reasonable doubt that he premeditated and killed this young boy with malice, then he goes free. He gets acquitted, and then we're done.
Being black in America.
Okay, so I want to talk about what it means to be black in America. I've been getting some kickback about Kamala Harris because of her makeup and whether she's black or not. Now, I automatically consider her black because her father's Jamaican. So that's an easy one for me. I feel like you can be black anywhere in the world, as a friend of mine said on Facebook. You can be black and be from anywhere in the world. The only thing that differentiates Black Americans from other blacks in the world is our attachment to the transatlantic slave trade that brought us to the United States of America. So there's Black Americans, American descendants of slaves, and then you have Black people and whatever their nationality might be. So we're all Black, but then you have Americans, Jamaicans, Trinidadians, Nigerians, Malians. You know what I mean? It breaks down into sex based on your nationality. So I just need people to understand that Black is Black, and then you have a national identity that you decide that you want to go with.
So, are there differences? Okay, no. Matter of fact, I don't even have to ask that question about, are there differences between Black Americans that are admitting to their ancestors being slaves and just Black Americans being born in Detroit?
I think you have to have a lineage to slavery to be considered a Black American. Otherwise, you are whatever your parents' nationality or wherever your nationality happens. If you're first generation and you were born in America, technically speaking, you're a Black American. However, if you're going to identify it in your life as to what your lineage is, you are a Black Jamaican. If their parents are from Jamaica, and so on and so forth, however that goes. But if you can trace your ancestry back to slavery in the United States, then that's where you should be able to don the moniker of Black American.
I know you're about to do a dope article on, what's the name of that team? It's the Black version of Antifa.
Oh, ADOS?
Okay, so them, check me out, right? So let me ask you something about them. Now, what if, because I remember last week we were talking about Black supergroups, Haitians, Trinidadians, Jamaicans, ones that are not necessarily of the Black American lineage, but I wanted them to know that they're Black as well. And I don't like, the fact that some nationalities that are like, Jamaican or Haitian, they don't want to consider themselves Black because of the stigmatism. And that's fine. I'm not here for that semantic. I'm just putting that out there. So the point I'm making the question I wanted to know is, do you consider ADOS a new super Black group where they're basically saying like, oh yeah, like, this is what this is.
Right.
This is the group of people that if ever was a day reparations come.
Right.
And we are looking to be the people, because a lot of rhetoric about reparations too, by the way. I'm not gonna get into it, but a lot of people like to say, well, if you believe in reparations, than you believe to be a slave. And what I would say to that is, I'm like, why are we getting into that semantic?
Right.
I'm not a slave today. I would never be.
Yeah, slavery happened, and
It happened.
so that's another. I don't know if that's another topic for another day, but
That is. I think it is.
ADOS is largely responsible for the reparations talk that we have in the mainstream today. So I give them credit for that. I do think that they are a little more on the conservative side for my liking, but they are going hard for blackness.
Hey, yo, what the f? This is some palace right here.
Let's take a look at the Biden-Harris website.
Joe Biden just released his Lift Every Voice plan, an economic plan for Black America. So we want to go through a few of them just to see if we agree with the direction that Joe Biden and Kamala Harris is taking. So first things first, as soon as you open up the article, they're asking you for a donation. And I don't like that because they should be talking about how they're going to give us money.
They got to run a campaign, Bobby. Man, they got to run a campaign, Hanif. I'm just saying, man. They got to run a campaign, bro. You got to run a campaign, man. Like, what do you want them to do? You know what I'm saying? They run, yo, look, man. We know what this is about. This is about campaign 101 right here. Matter of fact, this is campaigning 201. This is advanced campaigning right here. The man just doubled down on what he wanted to do. He told you on live viral internet, if you don't vote for me, you're not black. People were kind of mad. Then there was some black people that was on TV saying, nah, you know, don't be that mad. And they were like, I don't know, we should be kind of mad. And then what he do? Okay, he get Kamala. Cool. All he did, even though I'm still gonna vote for Biden, all he did was double down on what he said earlier.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's all he did. Like, he checkmated you. God damn, he checkmated us. I mean,
I don't think he checkmated. I think his picking Kamala was a demand from prominent black folk, and then those of us who follow, to say that Joe Biden, you need to pick a black vice president, or else we're not just going for the hook, line, and sinker again. And I think he heeded the call, because I for one was one of those people that if he did not pick a black vice president, I wouldn't have voted for him.
So you would have voted for Trump, or you would have voted for anyone?
I probably would have wrote in Kanye or something.
Oh, okay. So you would have voted for no one. I'm just playing with you. I'm just messing with you. You know, I like to mess around a little sometimes. I like to do that. Yeah, man. But I mean,
so let's take a look at, just a few things that he's talking about doing.
Okay.
So one of the first things is advance the economic mobility of African Americans and close the racial wealth gap and income gaps.
Yeah.
And he goes on to explain about African American small business ownership, which approximately shows up at 4%, and we're 13% of the population. So that's an acknowledgement that I can understand, because I was reading a book talking about reparations, and to get black people on an even playing field, we need to at least control the GDP in the percentage of our population. So if we're 13% of the population, then we're owed 13% in GDP in reparations. And we need 13% of the country's revenue to come through our communities, and we have control over it in order for us to be viable in this economic landscape.
So none of that is said here in this Biden-Harris website.
Well, I mean, he just made mention to the fact that approximately 4% of small businesses are African American, even though African Americans make up 13%. So to build wealth in America, communities, we must invest in the success of African American businesses and entrepreneurs. So I'm assuming that he's alluding to getting that 4% more closer to 13%.
Okay, that's fine. But again, now the question is, we just got to get people to buy the new businesses that are going to be developed. That's it. Businesses can be developed all the time. They have to thrive.
Right.
You know, I don't know if 4% of the 13% of the population is good or bad. All you doing is just basically putting a number. That sounds low. Oh man, you know, we make up 13% of the country, but you know something? Out of that 13%, only 4% have businesses. And it's like, okay, what are you saying? I mean, are you gonna give us land so we can create our own black version of Walmart? Are we doing that? Or are you saying you just giving, a black couple a new cupcake factory, which is nice.
Right.
I'm just saying, are you doing something that's going to save lives or just, a couple?
Yeah, you're right. Because a large part of the reason why we're only at 4% isn't because of lack of effort on our part. It's actual systemic discrimination that doesn't give us access to capital, doesn't give us access to federal contracts, to the things we need to be viable in business. The point I'm trying to make, though, was that Joe Biden and the Democrats need to be coming to black people asking us what we want, as opposed to telling us what they're going to give us.
That's where sometimes I feel a little mad about a super group of black folks because they're giving their agenda.
Right, exactly.
It never sounds like an agenda that includes me. Because here's the thing. I would let you talk for me so as long as you already know what the fuck I want. I don't have to use no intelligent words for that. It's straight up optics. I see it. Damn, they really don't talk for me. Sometimes they do. I mean, but don't get me wrong. They represent me. Like, yo, you did the right thing by, tapping the shoulder of Senator Kamala Harris. Let's just be real. You did the right thing. But the message isn't going to be any different. It's just the representation. This is campaigning. I'm putting the people in place that's going to get me the most votes to get me this seat, because I need what my man Farrakhan like to call it, the bully pulpit.
I won't stop till I get me a milli. Get that down like a baller up in Philly. Nigga never home till your door that I'm busy. I'm out here pitching like holiday, feel me? Every holiday I got a new bitch with me. Every hot day I got 2 bricks with me. You need 2 bricks, I need 350. I know you get fronted, but I need a green billy. You broke motherfuckers like baby boy. Make them sell with my Haiti boys, making Haiti noise. South pot and get a bitch drunk off that mata. I got her on her knees like I'm Allah in this baba. Nah, 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 nah. Like a white boy when he's got down, then I reappear. Voila, lost a job and got another one. I made your mother come like Delonte. Pay the bills, Beyonce, and put some steak on her entree, nigga. I'm about to twist a fillet. All about M's like Wayne on a milli. When I get a milli, I'ma aim for a billet. When you see me get an S, call me no pole when I chain on chili. Let's work.
Hey, yo, what the f***? This is some palace right here.